For Gallagher to become a regular news commentator, there had to be reporters willing to listen. No other journalist listened to or wrote more about Gallagher's advocacy than the Toronto Telegram's Labour reporter and future Progressive Conservative minister in Ontario, Frank Drea, whose stories about the difficult existence of Italian construction workers in the city earned him a major award for social justice journalism.
Frank was the son of an Irish tradesman. His father worked in Montreal, and he seen the same conditions in Montreal. And when he came to Toronto, it was even worse in Toronto, what workers had to go through at that particular time. They could cut their wages, they could do anything they wanted, and there was nobody there to speak up for them. He was already writing articles in the Toronto Telegram about the plight of Italian, Portuguese and Irish workers and what they had to go through. But nobody seemed to be listening too much. They just wanted all this stuff to be hushed and go away, go away. Hog's Hollow was the straw that broke the camel's back. Frank wrote an article about the disaster of Hog's Hollow and what it meant to the families and everything else. And John Bassett called him into his office at that particular time, him thinking he was going to get fired. But he congratulated him and told him, "You keep writing on this issue." Now, John Bassett at that particular time would have had interests with contractors and all and the like of that, and he would have owned pretty well City Hall. He had politicians on his side, a whole lot. For him to take that stand for the workers, you know, he could lose a lot of advertising in the newspapers, but he didn't. And Frank Drea wrote and wrote about it. And I think he's one man that never got thanked enough for health and safety, was that young writer.
Frank Drea definitely had a role himself. He had his share of a role of getting the opinion of the Canadian people, the Anglo-Saxon people, changed. They start seeing the Italians in a different light. We weren't just a bunch of scabs, a bunch of beggars. We came here to work, and we wanted to work, but we wanted to be respected and treated like human beings. He was practically part of us. He will go on every job site with muddy shoes and everything,